What a beautiful line. I walked slowly, but I never walked backward. Abraham Lincoln. Hello everyone, my name is Chandraprakash Joshi, former AGM RBI. Today in this video, we are discussing another 20 questions. This is the last video, 15th video, and we are completing 300 questions with this. This I asked in the last video. Vikram had joined the sales team of an insurance company 2 months back. He was missing his target again and again, so his manager Avinash scheduled a meeting with him to break down the each and every step of the successful sales. In this situation, what role Avinash is playing. So here in this situation, Avinash is acting like a leader. He is the team leader for the team and he is telling the steps for the sales process, guiding the team member how he can improve his performance. Avinash here is the leader, various management roles he is performing. As a leader, he is training and mentoring Vikram to make a successful sales call. Avinash is responsible for the motivation and direction of the subordinate. Which of the following statement regarding the small finance bank is not true? They are governed by the Banking Regulation Act 1949. Small finance bank are the financial institutions which provide financial services to the unserved and backward region in the country. Perfect. They need to maintain CRR and SLR are required to extend 75% of ANBC to the sectors eligible for classification under PSL. This you must be knowing. They cannot be a business correspondent for another bank. Now you know what is the correct. They need not to maintain. They are required to maintain the SLR, CRR. They are governed by the provisions of BR Act, RBI Act, FEMA, Payment and Settlement Act, Credit Information Companies Act, DICGC Act, other relevant statutes and directives, prudential regulations and others. RBI has said that they can transit to a universal bank subject to fulfilling a minimum paid up capital criteria and other criteria. Also remember that at least 50% of the loan portfolio should constitute loan and advances up to rupees 25 lakh in case of a small finance bank. NISTA program is one of the significant programs that aimed changing the education scenario in a country. Which are the beneficiaries of this scheme? All school-going children, children between class 6th and class 12th, school heads and teachers, non-teaching staff, or all of the above. The correct answer here is school heads and teachers. This is aimed for holistic advancement in a national mission to improve learning outcome at the elementary level through an integrated teachers training program initiative to address school heads and teachers. This program has been included in one of the two transformative ideas from the Department of School Education and Literacy for the 100-day program of the government. A settlement in which one can avail of revolving loan. It means one can use the loan amount, pay the money back and use it again. What is this type of settlement called? This is asset reconstruction, non-performing loan, downsizing of the loan, evergreening of the loan, upsizing of the loan. So what it is clearly evergreening. What is happening here? You repay the old loan and then take another bigger loan. So this is called evergreening of the loan. Say, so a company has earlier taken a loan of 50 lakh rupees. Then next time bank sanction it 80 lakh rupees. Then next time 120 lakh rupees. Even if the performance is not coming from the company, the loan is getting evergreened. Artificial greening of the loan. Otherwise the loan would have been NPA, non-performing asset. So to avoid this, bankers sometimes do, lenders sometimes do evergreening of the loan, which is of course not allowed. This is also known as revolving loan. In the economic survey, it was commented that RBI in the asset quality review could not identify the evergreening practice of the loan by Yes Bank and Lakshmi Vilas Bank. In these banks, then there were problem of the asset quality. Which of the following organization regulate the Indian Energy Exchange, IEX? Very straightforward answer. This is Central Electricity Regulatory Commission, because now we are talking about alternate energy. So this type of questions are important. IEX started its operation in 2008, pioneered the development of the power trading in India and provide an electronic platform to the various participants in power market comprising state electricity board, power producers, power traders. open access consumers, both industrial and commercial, and it is listed both with BSE and NSE. In addition to IEX, there is another exchange here, Power Exchange India Limited. Which of the following does not show the time liabilities side of the bank? Time liabilities. So understand liabilities and then the time liabilities. Fixed deposit, cash certificate. Time liabilities means which have a maturity time. Staff security deposits, saving deposit. You know the answer. Saving deposit cannot be a time deposit because it's a demand deposit. You have money in your saving account. Anytime you can ask to the bank, you can withdraw from the bank. So margin held against LC is also a kind of time liability because it will be proportionate to the tenor of the letter of credit issued. So this is a simple one, but if you have the conceptual understanding, time liabilities are those liabilities of the bank which are payable otherwise on demand. These include FD, cash certificate, staff security deposit, time liabilities portion of the saving deposit account. Sometimes what happens, there is a sweep-in facility in the saving account. So some amount can be parked like an FD from the saving account. So that becomes a time liability or margin held against the letter of credit, gold deposit, etc. Which of the following statement about check truncation system is not correct? It facilitates quicker check clearing. That is the basic purpose of it. An electronic image of the check is transferred with the vital essential data in the system. Perfect. It eliminates the need of the physical transfer of the check across the branches. Can we say that? Let us read the other options. It aims at totally eliminating the central bank's role in clearing the process. Oh God, how it can happen? Totally eliminating the central bank's means RBI's role here. It reduces operational risk for the bank. So operational risk will still be there, but yeah, it reduces, which is not correct. So eliminating central bank's role here is not correct because ultimately the settlement will happen in the central bank. What happens in case of the clearing process? Suppose one bank, say SBI has received check from various banks, say ICICI, PNB, Canara Bank. So all these check union bank are there on SBI. SBI will collect these check and ultimately that will go to a clearing house here. In this clearing house, from clearing house these go to these respective bank for passing. All these bank including SBI, they maintain account with RBI. So what happens? Fund transfer. So these bank will transfer funds to RBI in SBI's account with RBI. So the fund transfer will happen in RBI because RBI is the central bank here. The check truncation system, you must be knowing about it. It is initiated by RBI to speed up the clearing process. Instead of physical check transferring from one place to other, it is the image of the check which goes over the system. The passing bank checks the signature and other essential that the check is genuine and they transfer the money. Which of the following statement about aspirational district is true? Are those districts in India that are affected by the poor socio-economic indicators? At the Government of India level, the program is anchored by Niti Aayog. The disbursement of the MP LED funds is directly related to the ranking of the aspirational district. And here, this one is not correct. Third one, first and second are correct. Aspirational districts are those affected by the poor socio-economic indicators. They are aspirational in context. Their improvement in these districts then lead to the overall improvement in the human development in India. Such 115 districts were identified in 28 states. At least one from each state. The program anchored by Niti Aayog. MPLAD is the central sector scheme which was announced in December 93, launched to enable MPs to recommend work of the developmental nature with emphasis on the creation of the durable community asset in the areas of drinking water, primary education, public health, sanitation and road. The nodal district concerned is responsible implementing the eligible work recommended by the MP and maintaining the detail of the individual work done there. Which of the following statement about DigiLocker is true? If you are not using it, you can use it. It's quite convenient. It is provided by the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, MEHTI. It provides 1 GB storage space. Only academic mark sheet can be stored. So how it is there? So DigiLocker is not only for academic mark sheet. You may be using only for that purpose, for using your college, school and university mark sheet. But maybe I am using it for driving license. There are many things, many documents which we can store in the DigiLocker. Provides an account in cloud to every Aadhaar holder to access authentic documents, certificates such as driving license, vehicle registration, academic mark sheet in the digital format from the original issuer of this certificate. It provides 1 GB storage space in each of the account. Which of the following is not true about Financial Action Task Force? Headquartered in Paris, India is the only Asian nation in the FATF, has 2 lists of countries, grey list and black list. Here only second is correct because headquartered in Paris is correct and it has 2 lists, grey list and black list. So India is not the only country in FATF, not the only Asian country. FATF is an intergovernmental body established in 1989 during the G8 summit in Paris. Secretariat is located in OECD, headquartered in Paris. The objective of FATF is to set a standard and promote effective implementation of the legal, regulatory and operational measures to combating money laundering, terrorist financing and other related threats to the integrity of the international financial system. They make countries in different list, grey list and black list. Which of the following is not a non-tariff barrier? Import ban. You understand tariff barriers. So countries, when they want to control the trade, they raise tariff barriers. Import ban. Sanitary and phytosanitary condition. Product specific quota. By national policy, rise in import duty. So this one, rise in import and duty, is a tariff barrier. Question is not a non-tariff barrier. So here the double negative is there. So you have to be carefully studying the question. Which is not a non-tariff barrier. So means which is a tariff barrier. So this is the increase in the import duty is simply increasing the tariff. The correct answer is this. When goods are traded between countries, there is typically fee charged for good entering into different territory. These fee provide government with a amount of income and make foreign goods little expensive. Little means it depends on how much tariff is there. As the cost of foreign good include the tariff, it helps domestic producers to compete with them. This seems like good thing to do from a domestic perspective. Charging tariff most often causes reciprocal action against domestic good entering the foreign market. So other countries, they also have this kind of tariff. So our goods become costly there. Because of this, tariffs are generally seen as a barrier to the trade, as they increase the price of the good to everyone, which makes them less attractive and consumers and reduces the volume of the trade. A non-tariff barrier is any measure other than the custom tariff that acts as a barrier in the international trade. These are like any rules which dictate how a product can be manufactured, handled, advertised. Rule of origin. Many a time, many developed country like USA and European countries, they stop entry of the textile item made in India and Bangladesh, saying it has used child labor, which is not allowed. So rules which require proof of which country goods were produced, quota, rules that limit of the amount of a certain product can also be sold in that market, all these are non-tariff barrier. Mission Indradhanush aims at vaccinating, you said, tell only pregnant women, children below 2 years of the age. This is Mission Indradhanush. Aims to fully immunize more than 89 lakh children who are either vaccinated or partially vaccinated under UIP. Targets children below 2 years of the age and pregnant women for immunization. Provide vaccination against 12 vaccine parental diseases. These are diphtheria, whooping cough, tetanus, polio, tuberculosis, hepatitis B, meningitis, pneumonia, Haemophilus influenza type B infection, Japanese encephalitis, rotavirus vaccine, pneumococcal conjugate vaccine called PCV, and measles rubella. Mission Indradhanush 4 is the latest phase of the Mission Indradhanush to ensure the RI, routine immunization services, reach unvaccinated and partially vaccinated children and the pregnant woman. Children up to 2 years will be covered in this drive. Which of the following statement about anti-dumping duties are true? Anti-dumping duties is a protectionist tariff that a domestic government impose on foreign imports. Yes. Dumping refers to the export of an inferior quality of the good by a developed nation to a developing nation. Why only a developed nation? Even an underdeveloped nation also can dump inferior quality good in a developed nation. WTO deals with the rules of trade related to dumping. This is also correct. So first and third looking correct here. Dumping refers to export of a product at a price that is significantly lower than the price it normally charges in the home country, in the home market. Anti-dumping duty therefore is a protectionist tariff that a domestic government imposes on foreign import that it is believed are priced below the fair market value. Who among the following participate in the government securities market? Primary dealers, public sector bank, private sector bank, foreign institutional investors, all of the above. This is again a simple one. All these are participating in the government securities market. You and me can also participate. Major players in the government securities market include commercial bank, SLR securities they have to buy, remember always, and primary dealers besides institutional investors like insurance companies. Primary dealers play an important role in the market maker in the government securities market. Other participants include cooperative bank, regional rural bank, mutual fund, provident and pension fund. Foreign institutional investors FII are allowed to participate in the government securities market within the quantitative limits prescribed from time to time. Corporates also buy or sell government securities to manage their overall treasury position or overall risk. Which of the following statement about the better than cash alliance BTCA is true? It's an association of only government. India is a member of the alliance. It was created by the United Nations Capital Development Fund, the US Agency for International Development, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and Visa, among the others. Second and third is correct. India is a member of the alliance. It's a global partnership of 75 government, companies, and an international organization that accelerate the transition from cash to digital payment in order to reduce the poverty and inclusive growth. It was launched by United Nations Capital Development Fund, the United States Agency for International Development, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Citigroup, Ford Foundation, Omidyar Network, Visa, etc. are party in this and headquartered in United Nations. So this statement that it's only government association, it is not correct because there are other private parties into it. Which of the following statement about the OECD, Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, is true? Headquartered at Paris, India is member country in OECD. OECD members collectively hold more than 50% of the world GDP at the nominal value. Correct answer is first and third. Headquartered in Paris, correct. India is the member country. No. OECD collectively have more than 50% of the world GDP. OECD members are high income countries with a high human development index and regarded as developed country. India is not there. As of 2017, OECD member country collectively comprises 62% of the nominal GDP globally and 82.8% of the global GDP at purchasing power parity. OECD is an official United Nations observer. India is not a member. Which of the following statement about external commercial borrowing ECB is true or are true? ECB provide opportunity to borrow large volume of fund. The funds are usually available for relatively longer term. Is it so? Corporate can raise ECB only from foreign bank. Why that restriction will come from foreign bank? So corporate can raise ECBs with the help of domestic bank or foreign bank. The funds can usually for long term. This is correct, and opportunity to borrow large volume of fund. ECB is a loan availed by an Indian entity from a non-resident lender. Suppose in India, Adani Group takes a loan from say Citibank, Singapore. The advantage of ECB provides opportunity to borrow large volume of the funds for relatively long term. Interest rate normally are compared. That's why people will borrow from outside. In the international market, it is comparatively with lesser interest rate. ECBs are in form of the foreign currency. Yes, they enable the corporate to have foreign currency to meet the import of machinery. Suppose an Indian company is raising money in ECB. So for making the payment to the external company, it does not need to convert their Indian currency to the foreign money, because here the payment, the loan disbursement of this ECB will happen in the foreign currency, say USD. It will become easier for the company to import. Corporate can raise ECB from internationally recognized sources such as bank, Export Credit Agency, International Capital Market. This is correct. Which of the following is the aim of National Perspective Plan? It to reduce NPA in commercial bank, increase transparency in civil administration. Extending judicial process in India envisages the transfer of water from water surplus basins where there is flooding of water to the deficit basin, preparing for future pandemic situation. And option D is the correct one. Transfer of water from water surplus basins to the deficit basins where there is drought, scarcity through interbasin water transfer project. National Perspective Plan. Remember this. When Vikas's manager caught him breaking one of the company's rules, he took away one of Vikas's company privilege as a response. In terms of the reinforcement theory, how is Vikas's manager responding to the incident? He made a mistake, he took away some of the benefit. He is using punishment in order to decrease the probability of the repeated inappropriate behavior on Vikas's part. He is using negative reinforcement in order to decrease the probability of the repeated inappropriate behavior. He is using positive reinforcement is definitely not there. Cut this. He is using avoidance. No. He is using extinction in order to completely stop. No. So here we have to think whether it is a punishment or a negative reinforcement. So it is a negative reinforcement because it is using punishment in order to decrease the probability of repeated inappropriate behavior. Reinforcement theory of motivation. Understand this. Then you will be able to choose the correct answer. By B.F. Skinner state that individual behavior is function of its consequences. Identify 4 types of reinforcement. Positive reinforcement means you did something good followed by positive consequences. You scored high in the mock test and you are going to get a job. So that is positive reinforcement. Negative reinforcement is removing unpleasant consequences after the desired behavior. So here nothing positive is given but the negative is avoided. Say for right driving there is no challan. If you drive wrong, jump the red light, so there will be challan, there will be punishment. So that punishment is not given because of a good behavior. Giving punishment is removing positive consequence following some undesirable behavior. So in this example what we have in the question, his reward was taken away because of the desired behavior. Extinction means any effect that causes behavior to be inhibited. Which of the following is a form type of the conflict of the interest? An officer deciding post-employment benefit for his own post. Very interesting. Decision on government property taken by officer whose family brought the property from the government. Yes, this is also conflict of interest. Holding an office of profit. What is the conflict here? Somebody will hold office of profit. Simply holding an office of profit is not going to create any conflict of interest because the question has to explain what is the conflict of interest here. Option 1 and 2 are correct answer here. When an officer deciding the benefits for his own post. 1. There is a conflict of interest because you yourself are deciding your benefits. Second, government property taken by officers whose family bought the property from the government. Very clear? But holding an office of profit. Suppose somebody is a chairman of a company, CEO of a company, general manager of a company or any position of a profit. So where is the conflict here? For creating a conflict, there has to be a complete situation. Just by holding an office of profit does not mean there is a conflict of interest. There are people those who can be CEO in 2-3 companies also, or maybe holding an office of profit at one place and doing some charitable work at another place without any conflict. Situation is not given, so just by reading the word office of profit cannot create conflict. This is the last question. A type of organizational control which is exercised while the activity is in progress is called. Will you answer this in the comment before I tell the answer? Because this is the last video I am telling you the answer. This is called, it's easy one, concurrent control, because here the activity is in progress. There are 4 types of control. Feed forward, as the name suggests. So you know what is feedback? Feed forward means prior to, and concurrent means together. Feedback means afterwards. Multiple control, as the name suggests. In case of concurrent control, regulation of the ongoing activities that are part of the transformation process to ensure that they conform to the organizational standard. Concurrent control is designed to ensure that employee work activities produce the correct result. Concurrent control sometimes is called screening or yes-no control because it often involves checkpoint at which determinations are made out whether to continue the progress, take corrective action or stop work altogether on the product or services. Now, the future depends on what we do in the present. Here I am concluding this series. Thank you for liking it, watching it. My best wishes for your selection in the exam. We'll keep you meeting in all the videos. You can reach to us for any question you have at 9205524028. Only at ixamBee. You prepare 50% faster.